You have a brother in the 2nd Battalion.
Yes, sir.
They're walking into a trap. Your orders are to deliver a message, calling off tomorrow morning's attack. If you fail, it will be a massacre.
Let's talk about this for a minute.
Why?
We've got orders to cross here.
That is the German front line.
If we're not clever about this, no one will get to your brother. I will.
There's only one way this ends.
Aloha! This is Trinidad the Island Man, your Island Man, coming to you live once again from beautiful Hawaii here on the island of Oahu, bringing you, yes you, the best movie reviews on the entire island of Oahu. And yes, this is Trinidad the Island Man, your Island Man. And last night, I know it's a week late, I finally went ahead and I saw the movie 1917. And without further ado, remember our rating scale. Shock a thumbs up, it's good to see, I recommend it. Shock a thumbs down, it's junk, I don't recommend it. And for 1917, it is a shock a thumbs up. Now, like I said, this has been out for a week. I meant to go see it last week, but, you know, here on the islands, it was a little rainy and gloomy, and I was kind of busy with some other things, so I failed to go out and see it. But I definitely did want to see it. That and it being another military movie, another war movie, I was a little reluctant, kind of held back, saying, well, you know, do I really want to see it, despite all the Oscar buzz around it, because right off the bat from the original trailers, I knew this was going to be something to marvel at and take a look at, and I was not disappointed, as it is a strong shock a thumbs up. This basically centers around two characters, World War I soldiers, set in, again, 1917, just as the title would state, starring George McKay and what's that guy's Michael Charles, I think, is the other person. Basically, they, you know, being, you know, in World War I, British soldiers are sent with important orders to intercept a commander who's about ready to attack the German front lines that don't realize that it is a trap. And basically these two soldiers are sent off alone in an attempt to stop the attack before 1,600 people, 1,600 soldiers on their side, British soldiers, are killed, essentially. And again, you know, basically this plays out like a Saving Private Ryan's. That is the closest kind of movie that you can relate this to. And very much like Spielberg's, product, Sam Mendes, who directs this, does an excellent job of the war-torn scenes, and even more so, puts on a, first-person POV kind of shooting with these two characters as the camera just seems to float, following them from place to place, so that in very much a way of a video game, say like Call of Duty, you are there with them in the action. And the action scenes is where this movie really pushes forward because of that personal perspective that you are in and feeling like you're in the action. As such, if someone has any possible PTSD issues, this, like Saving Private Ryan, maybe some other war movies, may not be the best for you to go see, as you are sort of put in that perspective, especially in this movie, of being right there in the action, back in the heat of battle, unfortunately. So if you have any problems like that, you might want to, hold off on seeing this film. But that being said, it is very interesting. It is very unique. Apparently this is based on a real-life events that took place with Sam Mendes, the director's relative, I believe his grandfather, maybe great-grandfather, who was in World War I. So basically this is a true-to-life story, told from, some real-life events, and then also the stories that, his relative had passed down to Mr. Mendes, Sam Mendes, the director. And this movie has great opportunities for special guest star cameos, and it does not disappoint. Everybody from, Benedict Cumberbatch to what was that? Rob from the Game of Thrones. Rob Stark is in this, also from The Bodyguard Netflix show, which was excellent. He was in this movie as a cameo. Mark Strong, just to name a very few. So, this is a definite Oscar contender for most of the awards, especially for some type of cinematography award. Most likely may get Best Picture. This is the one that's going to give Joker its run for its money, I would say. And plus, having more of a realistic movie story, this is probably what the Academy will definitely focus on out of all of the nominations. Best Actor, maybe, but I don't think so. And it's hard to say Best Supporting Actor, because being only 2 people in it, and not very well-known people per se, I don't think they're going to get much push for that. But definitely Best Picture, Best Cinematography, things like that. You can't go wrong, believing that this movie will win the Oscar for those. Outside of that, again, it is a strong shock, a thumbs up. Basically, that's the story. These 2 men, on their own wits and survival, have to go forth, get these orders to the front lines, and prevent a terrible tragedy from occurring as these men are about to push into the front line, expecting little to no resistance and an easy victory. Will come across fortified German positions, the like of which, is even stated in the film, the English had not seen before during this time of World War I. And this is a history lesson, in addition to an interesting movie, it being based on historical events here in Hawaii, here in the Pacific. We definitely have a tendency, especially Americans, have more of a tendency to gravitate towards, World War II. That's where we won the war, pushing against the Germans and, the Japanese. And, that's kind of where our focus is. And especially in Hawaii, being at the heart, the tip of the spear, the heart of darkness there at the times, is where we basically look and watch more movies about that, especially like the last one that just came out, this Midway battle. But this one is very much more realistic, as it does not rely on such CGI trickeries as that movie did, which was a necessity for that movie. However, I think the realism in this will definitely propel it forward. If you haven't seen it already, definitely go ahead and check it out. And if not, and you want to wait till later when it's streaming or at home on Netflix, definitely check it out. This is something to sit down and watch. Maybe even with your kids if they got some kind of report due about World War I, or if you want to show them maybe, this is, World War II wasn't, the only, there's a reason it's called World War II. And, this, along with many other movies, will definitely give them a good filmology history of, past unfortunate events, such as that. And, how the world has dealt with certain things. And may, unfortunately, be heading towards facing those events again. All right, well, I'll go ahead and get off my soapbox now, but definitely go and see 1917. Strong shock a thumbs up for this Oscar-nominated film. Check it out when and however you can. All right, thank you so much. This is Trinidad the Island Man, your Island Man, saying aloha.